welcome to this week's video. Now in this week's video I'm going to show you some tricks on the acoustic guitar so you can go from sounding like this to something a bit more like this. So what prompted this video is I've recently seen some people playing guitar in pubs, doing solo acoustic guitar things, and they will tend to be just playing bar chords and chonking away on bar chords. Let me give you an example. Now I'm going to use the chord sequence from Stand By Me through this video because that uses the sort of four most common chords that are in 90% of songs these days. So not in that order necessarily, the order varies, but it's those four chords, so it's a well-known sequence, so I'm just going to do that. But this is the kind of thing that I would see people doing. Now when I play acoustically, I hardly ever play bar chords, and this kind of didn't come from trying to be clever or musical. It came from the fact that even if I do half a song doing all bar chords, my hand is absolutely killing me. So I admire people who do it, but I find it incredibly difficult. And the other thing is, because you're kind of playing the same shapes all over the place, I don't find it very interesting. And what is really good about the guitar is being able to put a capo on, for example, and the capo, I don't tend to use that just so I can alter the key to make the song work in the key that I want to do it in. I put a capo on so I can play using certain shapes which then add interest to the sound, which is something I'm going to show you in a minute. So what I always like to try and do on the acoustic guitar is take advantage of the open strings. So I'm going to show you this, for example. I'm just going to play it, then I'll go through it. This is the kind of thing that I do on that Stand By Me chord sequence in A. And obviously if you want to sing it in a different key, you can just put your capo wherever, but I'm going to show you in A. So this. And hopefully you'll agree that that sounds more interesting. So let me show you what I'm doing there and what I'm doing to exploit the open strings that I can use when I'm playing in these shapes. So the first chord, the chord I originally showed you, would be like an A major bar chord there. So as I say, I'll try and exploit the open string. So if we play the open A, I always play it at my second, third and fourth finger for some reason. I suppose it's, so if I did want to do a bar chord, it would be correct. So, but what I do on this one is I play, and then on the B string, instead of playing that note, I play an open string, which gives you this sound. Now what that chord actually is, that is called an A sus2 or A add 9. And what you're doing, instead of putting the major third in, you're putting the second note in of the scale instead. So you go, so I'm playing, and it's called an A sus2, and you get this sound. And it adds that kind of interesting suspension. You can add that note back in again if you want, so you get this sound. So that's the first chord, that's my first suggestion for A. Then when we go to the F sharp minor, instead of playing a, this is the chord I would tend to do because it hurts my hand less. Second finger on the F sharp on the bottom string, don't play anything on the fifth string. Third finger on the E, on the second fret of the fourth string, and then your little finger on the second fret of the third string, and then play the top two strings open, which gives us this. And the notes in that I'm playing here kind of make it an F sharp minor 11 type thing, because we've got the, that's the root note, that's the 7, which gives you the F sharp minor 7. That's your minor third, which makes it a minor chord. And then that B, that's the fourth note of the scale, which is also the 11th note of the scale, so that makes it sound like an 11 chord. And then the E, again, is the 7 chord, so 7 of the chord. So those two chords. this is what I do. Instead of going, play nothing on the bottom 2 strings, then I play open D string, 4th string, 2nd fret, same as you would a normal D chord, on the 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then I will leave the top string open. Which again, that's giving us a sus2 chord because we're adding the 2nd note of the scale, which is E. So we're adding that note and we're getting this sound. And again, you could put the note back in to give you the normal D chord by going. So those 3 chords. And the last chord, the E, instead of doing something like, or even the open E, what I tend to do is I play the open string on the E, don't play anything on the B string, and I'll show you why in a minute, because I'm going to move my hand, which means I need to use different fingers, which makes it easier not to do that. All the time we're not playing these strings, we need to be damping with our left hand. I've got a course on my website actually all about left hand damping, but so what I'm doing, I'm playing nothing, I'm playing an open bottom E, nothing on the 5th string, and I'm kind of damping it slightly with that finger, which is also pressing the 2nd fret on the 4th string, 1st fret on the 3rd string, then open, open, which gives us this sound. And the reason I do it like that is because then I can move up to here, still damping that 5th string. So I put my 3rd finger on the 4th fret on the 4th string and my 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, so you get this sound. Which what we're doing again here, we're adding 2 different notes. I'm adding the sus2 again, and also a sus4. Now sus4 is you're adding the 4th note of the scale, which is this sound. You'll know this sound. This is. That is adding the sus4 into that chord, but here we're adding the 2 and the 4 by going. So I put the chord diagrams here, so hopefully you can see what that is. So let me play that whole sequence. So there we go. I think hopefully you agree that sounds more interesting. I'm just going to butt in here and just mention that I've got a library of video guitar lessons online. Beginning country guitar one, the newest one I've put up there is all about doing left hand damping, but I've got lots of other solos. I've got show you how to play the end solo from Sultans of Swing, a solo from Hotel California. I've got some Nile Rodgers funk stuff, various other stuff. There's some monthly subscriptions or some of the lessons you can buy separately, so go and check them out. They're on my website, iamtjwalker.com, and at the top of the page there's a little tab that says guitar lessons. Now I'm not going to go through every key and shape here in this video because that'd be too much. If you want more, let me know and I'll do another video with some more different ideas. But I'm going to show you some ideas that you can do if you're playing an E shape. Now in this key, that same chord sequence would be this. If you're playing it all with sort of open chords or bar chords, it would be E, C sharp minor, A, B. There's quite a lot of open strings there. In certain keys you get more open strings, you know, particularly in E, because you've got lots of open strings in the chord. So you can really exploit that, and this is what I would do using this shape and this chord sequence. So first of all, we're going to go right up, approaching the dusty end of the fretboard, up to the 7th fret, and we're going to play the bottom string open, 1st string 7th fret on the 5th string, 4th string 9th fret, and then 3rd string 9th fret. So it's this, and then we're going to play the open top 2 strings open, so you get this sound, which I really like that sound. It's a big open sound. There's actually no 3rd in it, so you can use that for major or minor. But and what we're going to do, we're going to keep that shape for the next chord, for the C sharp minor, but we're just going to move it down 1, 2, 3 frets. And what we've got there, we're playing the top 2 strings open again, and we're not playing a third with the notes that we're fretting, but that top E that we've left ringing, that's your minor third in this chord. So that's clever, that. And we've got the B in there as well, which is giving us a, oh, I need to work this one out. That's giving you the 7, I think. Yes, it is. So this is kind of like a, it's just a minor 7. Then the next chord for the A, now you could use this shape as well in the previous example when you're playing an A chord. I like this one. You don't play the bottom string, you play the 5th string, 7th fret on the 4th string, 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then open, open. So you get this sound. And what you're doing with that chord, you've got the normal 2 A's, the root note, you've got the minor third, the major third, which is the C sharp, then you've got a B, which is the same as actually that chord there, because it's the same open string, and then you've got the E, which is in the chord. And then for the B chord at the end, back to that same shape we were using for the E and the C sharp minor, but we do it on the 2nd fret here. So let me play that whole sequence in this key using these shapes. I think that's a really nice big open sound, and there's other just little things you can do. Let me just show you a couple of other little things that I might do in this. When you're doing that first chord, you can drop that note that you're playing on the 3rd string on the 9th fret, you can drop it down to the 8th fret so you can get this sound. So this is just some different ideas of different things you can put in with those open strings. There we are. I hope that's given you some useful ideas of how to add more colour and more interest into your acoustic strumming. And as I say, those songs aren't limited to songs that are just in the keys of E and A, because you can put a capo wherever you want, which is, some keys might not lend it to it. You know, if you're playing in, say, you want to do the A shape but the song's in G, then you'd have to put the capo here, which would make it impossible, in which case you'd probably want to use the E shape, so you can put the capo on the 3rd string. Now I've got some other ideas to use with different shapes with this C and D shape. If you're interested, leave me a comment and I shall do another video showing you some ideas on that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment, as I say, if you want more of these ideas, and I hope to see you next week.